Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show. And this is becoming a habit, Scouse. It's Victory Thursday, mate. How are you? You all right, buddy?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. I'm very good. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, mate. Busy at work, obviously. Loads. It's kicking my arse at the minute, mate. But it's
Always the way, mate.
it's
Always the way.
going it's going well, mate. It's going all right, and I cannot complain at the moment. And I'm going to ride this train while we are all happy and everything is going well for the Commanders. And I am glad to chop it up with you, like everybody in our chat, especially Canada Mike. Shout out to you who put a comment on at 15:45. I don't know if you're overexcited or what you're doing, mate, but come on now. It's all good. Shout out to Scott G, Alid, Brian, and Deluxe in the chat. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for being with us. We'll start off with our sponsors, as we always do, Scouts. We are the sponsor of Dunstable Town FC's Talk of the Town podcast, which is run by Washington Commanders fan himself, Andy Burrows. Go over to their YouTube channel, subscribe, do all the good things, give them a listen and a watch. They're doing some good stuff on there on Premier League football and non-league football all the way through, so go and give them a listen and a watch. We're also graciously sponsored by Oddballs. You can go across to myoddballs.com, go and have a look at all of their stuff that you've got. And you can buy our gear on there as well. So Alid, I will get that hat to you. We'll sort it out. Don't you worry about that, my son. And we'll get it fixed for you. But yeah, man, I've been struggling a bit, and I've seen people have been struggling a bit recently with like golf swings and tennis elbow, sore knees, that sort of thing, Scouse. But obviously, if you've got these sort of issues, you can go across to our other sponsor, which is Fusion Therapeutics. They are fusiontherapeutics.co.uk. They provide expert musculoskeletal assessments and treatments with a focus on holistic care, dedicated to improve your well-being through tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offers specialist injection therapies and non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or Cheshire area, please give the team a call on 0161 842 0030 or book online, and the team will be happy to advise you further on these affordable treatment solutions. Right, news, mate. News as always this week. Pepsi Rookie of the Week, JD5, fifth straight week on the spin, mate. 5 down, 5 weeks he's got this Rookie of the Week. Yeah, he's doing something special, mate. He is doing something absolutely special at the moment. I mean, what are your thoughts on how Jaden's been going on?
Yeah, man, it's been nice, man. It's been really nice.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great just to have a QB to finally go, oh shit, my fandom is here. We have a quarterback. I genuinely think we have a quarterback. It's one of them. So yeah, man. I'm so excited.
He's doing everything right. It's just a case of, there's always that like
nagging feeling. I know where you're going. Is it gonna last? Is it gonna last?
The PTSD from previous years, and is he going to get hurt, or is it a case of that he just goes like he just becomes absolute shite, or you know what I mean? I just hope that it just continues the way it is, So.
So do I, mate. So do I. I mean, I really hope that we said before the season started that, this was the season that all we needed to do is just find that QB, make sure he's the guy and build around him. But from the start that we've had so far, I mean, what do you do? You know what I mean? What do you do from here? I mean, it is crazy the start that we've had. I'm blown away by it, to be honest with you. On how we're starting.
I told you we'd be 4-1 after 5 games.
Of course you did, mate. Yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. Well, we'll get into it then, Scouts. I mean, we've got to review the game of week 4. My apologies. Against the Cleveland Browns, a 34-13 win, giving us a 4-1 record, 4 wins on the spin. And we didn't bother playing B-Rob in the second half, or JD5 for the fourth quarter. Mike brought us a question and he says, as I predicted versus the Browns, are you embarrassed with your prediction of a loss to such a terrible team?
I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I think we mentioned it last week or on different pods where before the season started, we think Cleveland was a loss.
We did. We genuinely did.
I did.
I did too.
And we thought, the defense is too good. Our offense is shite. We don't know what it's all about. and then obviously, this week come along and Jaden did the business only in 2 quarters. Now you think about it, the first quarter he wasn't very good. Threw a pick as well in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third quarters put 24 points up, and that was the game over. And then he just took him off in the fourth quarter. Said, we don't need you anymore.
You're absolutely.
That's how explosive we've actually been over since Jaden's come in, especially the last few weeks. I mean, it's nice to see, man. But this is going to be a tough test this week. I'll tell you that.
It is. Brian's put something in the chat here saying that Pepsi Award, is it fan votes or players or media? I have no idea, Brian. I couldn't honestly tell you how it's conducted, but all I saw is that the Commanders put a tweet out
people
saying
people like me saying, "There's Pepsi."
Yeah.
So it's like,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like what you did there.
I
mean,
I'm sponsored by Pepsi today, and they said
nice.
85 is number
Other
5.
cola brands are available. Especially my house, Roller Cola. Yeah, we're all going well. We'll look at the passing and we'll look at the stats then. So Deshaun Watson, 15 of 28, 125 yards, 1 TD, a QBR rating of 8.5. Yes, you heard that right, 8.5. Jameis Winston also came in for 1 snap, 16 yards. For us, Jaden Daniels, he was 14 of 25, 238 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, QBR of 75.6. And Marcus Mariota was 1 of 3 for -2 yards and nothing else, with a QBR rating of 0.4. So, I mean, that handoff that he did when he... That handoff he did when he came in, I was like, oh, okay.
That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened to him when he played in the preseason, where the first play got blown up for a bloody -5 yard tackle on him. It's just like, mate, sack. Sorry, yes. So it's just like, mate, like they got the guys shite. Like just.
Yeah, well, look. I understand completely as to how he came in and why we have him in that mentor role. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Yeah, it seems like Jaden's got a really good relationship with the whole QB room. Obviously, spent a lot of the preseason and the off season with Sam Hartman. But if he's there to mentor him and show him what he's like,
and that's the main. I know that's his main job. It is, because he's very similar, and they've gone through similar pathways as well, Heisman Trophy winner, blah blah blah, and
second overall pick,
yeah. I mean, I think Mariota was number 1, wasn't he? Was he number 1?
No, he was a second. He was number 2. He was second.
And plus, similar type players, both use the legs, etc. I get it, right? So I do get why he's here, but he's just. I mean, even you can see by a mile that Jaden's is better than him already. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's not even a question.
He's been in the league 10 years. He's been in the league 10 years now, Mariota, something like that. So. But yeah, man, it just like the offense seems to like either just not show up or just not try as hard when Mariota's behind center, because Mariota got smoked. I know some QB designated QB runs and whatever, and he got nothing for them, but it's kind of like, where's the offensive line gone? They were still blocking the ass off for Jaden just before, and then Mariota comes in and they don't do anything for him, so it's a bit like,
We'll get into the other side of it then, the rushing side and the passing side. So Jerome Ford, we said before in our preview last Thursday that we had to keep Jerome Ford quiet, and quiet we did keep him, 9 for 47 and no touchdowns. Then on our side, Jaden had 11 carries for 82 yards. Austin Eckler, 6 carries for 67 yards. Jeremy McNichols, 7 carries for 44 and a touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr., that man is an absolute freight train. 7 carries for 18 yards and 2 TDs. And then Terry had 1 carry for 2 yards. And Marcus Mariota had 2 carries for 2 yards. So as a team, it was 215 yards rushing this week, which is just, It doesn't seem to me, mate, when we're watching the team, like there is a defined rushing and passing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, we're going to rush. We are that team where we're going to rush all the time. We are absolutely mixing and matching it up. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's in his bag with a flashlight, looking to the bottom of his bag, going, "Hey, I need to open this playbook up even more." I mean, I swear to you, like you were saying, he is looking at this like my show notes, going, "We'll throw that bit out and we'll start again." And more we go down the line here, the more is being open to this offense, which is unbelievable. Receiving wise, Amari Cooper 4 for 60. He was their highest on there. McLaurin was 4 for 112. De'Ami Brown 2 for 57 and 1 TD. And that is Austin Eckler was 2 for 30. Luke McCaffrey 3 for 19. Zacchaeus 1 for 10. And as a team, 236 yards and 1 TD.
Yeah, so
got to get into
yards total offense, wasn't it? Again,
yeah,
we've done it a few times
yeah.
now. The last few weeks. I don't know about the Giants, but before after the last
451 yards total, mate. Was the
I think last
in
last
offense
week was 500. I could be wrong, but
it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I'm saying, man, and you see the explosive plays there. You see the stats for say De'Ami Brown. He only did 2 for 57, and one of them was probably a 40-yard bomb for the touchdown. Explosive plays that's we've missed that such a long time now. It's probably since Kirk Cousins, really, that we've had a quarterback who could actually throw the ball deep and have a real explosive play, or like on the regular, like every game, so someone's going to step up and do that and make that happen for us. But it's nice to see again, man, because we've not had it for a while.
Scott G saying the game was over and backups are in scouts with the overreaction of the week on the backup QB.
It's not overreaction.
I get it.
I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you the facts, bro. He came in, he did nothing, and he was shit. I mean, what do you want me to say there?
We've got to talk about a couple here as well. Fumbles. Deshaun Watson fumbled once, lost one. Terry McLaurin on our side had a fumble, lost it. Austin Eckler had a fumble, which was recovered by Zacchaeus. I mean, if you've seen that play, unbelievable, and it just shows you as well. The next person on top of that fumble was Luke McCaffrey. Does that not just tell you that this offense is playing as a team completely? I also watched earlier on in today was the offensive lines of the week on Pat McAfee's show. AQ Shipley going through there, and he had Commanders as the offensive line of the week again. So overall, out of the top 5, he had us as number 1. We are killing it. I mean, Sam Cosmi running down when Jaden was down on the right-hand side for probably a 30 or 40-yard run where I actually thought he was going to try and take it in for a touchdown. The next person running down is Sam Cosmi at right guard. I mean, a 300-pound behemoth running at you is just not what you want to see if you're a safety. I mean, that is like, no, no.
I mean, did you see Allegretti's nice tackle on the double team with Coleman and Garrett?
Yeah,
and then so basically, I mean, you see from basically Allegretti goes in to help Biadasz originally, and then Biadasz, and he knows straight away that Biadasz has got him, so he goes okay, and then just turns to the left to see where Garrett was, and Coleman was holding his own. Then he came along and just nailed him. It was the greatest. That's exactly what you should be seeing. Your offensive line have got to be doing stuff like that. Pulling and actually just double teaming guys when you need them to be. At all the right and just have that natural instinct to do that. Like before a few years, we've had guards who just don't do that shit. They're like somebody standing there looking around saying, "What shall I do?" At least Allegretti actually did what he should have been doing, and that's down to coaching. So I mean, obviously, I'm really happy.
Jesse, mate, Jesse's put something in our chat here. He said, "Are you all ready to admit that I was right about the O-line?" Yes, humble pie, mate. I'll hold my hand up. I thought this offensive line wasn't going to be very good yet again this year, and I'll hold my hands up, mate. This is a good offensive line, but I also think it helps with play calling and how the scheme is working around what Jaden is doing and what the running backs are doing as well. The blocking, also from the tight ends and the receivers, has been outstanding. Cannot deny that at all. I mean, Luke McCaffrey blocking his absolute butt off is just something that you want to see every single week. And I mean, I've got to be honest with you, Scouse. This is a good offensive line.
It's looking a lot. It's looking a lot better. You know, you can see the improvements week to week. You can see it. You know, and I put that on the coaches. I mean, the players, because
Yeah,
we've had some. And okay, yes, you know, Biadish is a huge upgrade on what we had. I mean, he is really, really
massive.
good. And, you know, he's probably a top 10 center at least. You know, in the league without
Yeah.
coming to us before he came to us, he was probably rated top 10. But yeah, man, I mean, even Turnstile, he's looking okay at the moment. And to be fair, that's that's just unbelievable coaching. It has to be. And play
I
call,
don't
like
know.
you mentioned. It has to
I
be.
don't know
It
if you've
has
had
to
chance.
be
I don't know if you've had chance to watch back the mic'd up that Sam Cosmi did, where he's talking to the offensive line with Biadish and he's talking to Wiley. They're sat next to each other on the bench, and you look at Wiley and he's saying to Cosmi, "I'm enjoying this. It's fun playing." You know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, "Hell yeah, it's fun playing when you're winning and when you're doing what you're doing." The run game, they love being in the run game and smashing people, smash mouth football. That is what we're kind of getting out of it. I mean, Kyle's got an absolutely brilliant point here as well. Shout out to Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. If you haven't already been to the Burgundy Zone, go across and watch them, the goats of the podcast world. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Go ahead and subscribe to them. Myles Garrett, not even on the sheet, not even on the stat sheet at all. 0 tackles, nothing. And we were sitting here saying, you got to keep Myles Garrett quiet. I know he was a little bit banged up going into the game, but even so, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer who we have kept absolutely silent. And does that not go out to, do you not go out to Lucas and Coleman and say, yeah, well done?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that there's so many facets to it. Yes, great blocking by Lucas. Coleman held his own. You know, Allegretti helped out, like you mentioned before, that play you mentioned before. But then also, say, scheme, QB, all the rest of it. You know, all of it together is actually working so well. It's like a well-oiled machine at the moment, and because of that, people like Garrett are not getting anywhere near the quarterback, which is exactly what we want. And you know,
100%.
I mean, you don't forget. I mean, you know, Garrett has got Achilles tendonitis in both Achilles at the same time, so he is struggling a little bit. You know, but in saying that, I'm not knocking our players. Our players went out there against them and did the business. It's exactly what you have to do, and you know, fair play.
I know. We've got to get onto the defense, mate. Best performance I've seen in a couple of years, this defense. They were incredible again. And Dan Quinn said a few weeks ago, we're close. And we were like, well, are we really close? And is it really going on? Are we getting there? And then we see 2 back-to-back performances where the defense has been absolutely strong. This week, especially, they were unbelievable. I mean, where do you want to start with the defense? I mean, because every single person on that defense deserves the full credit. But where do you want to start, mate? I'll let you take the lead on this.
I mean, I say you could start near enough anywhere, any position. But I think like anything, it all starts in the trenches for me. So, you know, if O-line's good, your QB's got a chance. If your D-line's good, you've got a chance of stopping these guys. You know, saying don't help the linebackers out, etc., etc. So for me, you know, it's got to be the guys up front first. So, you know, Allen and Payne did the business, you know. Yes, still slight issues going up the middle. Running against up the middle, but you know, as I say, we virtually nullified their running backs. I mean, if we had a fit and healthy Chubb, we probably would have struggled a little bit more there. But in saying that, yeah, we did what we had to do, and they say everyone, as I say, good play, a good 8, 9 out of 10, across the board. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, really, really hard to do in the NFL. There's always usually one guy that gets picked on, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Like it's always a corner or it's always a safety or whatever's getting picked on. But to be fair, our guys held up well. So
Frankie Louvu was just incredible. That sack where he pushed Jerome Ford back into Deshaun Watson and we basically sacked the entire fucking offensive line was ridiculous. I get it, Jesse, what you're saying, that O-line sucked for them. Yeah, it did. It was terrible. But you can only play what is in front of you. And this is the thing. We know we haven't had a defensive line like this or a defense as total for a long time. We knew going into the season, Scouse, you mentioned it ad nauseum, that putting competent linebackers in the middle of the field is what you want. I mean, I'll read you the stats here. Frankie Louvu, 7 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, 2.5 sacks, a tackle for loss, 3 QB hits, and a takeaway, a forced fumble, which was recovered by him. What a game! I thought it was an INT initially, but they called it a fumble, and he picked up the fumble from there. But who cares, man?
Yeah, man. Brilliant. I mean, he's becoming the should have called the Ray Lewis of our team. He really is.
Maybe a bit of a stretch there, Scout. Maybe a bit of a stretch there, Scouts. But I get where you're coming from.
Well, that guy, and he's producing. That's all. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? That's what Ray Lewis did. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Ray Lewis, but I'm saying our type of Ray Lewis. So, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm loving what he's doing. I'm loving the energy he's bringing. I'm loving what he's doing on the field. You know, and now he's starting to get those sacks, like you mentioned. He's starting to get those stats now. Before he was just getting blocked off, or he was like missing the tackle by a mile, and he was, because he's always that guy who's trying to hit stick you. Do you know what I mean? So if he can spin off him and things. But yeah, man, he's come to play, man. He's come to play. So him and Wagner, man, you can see just getting better and better the more they play with each other.
Oh, of course, and it takes time to adapt, and that's the thing. Like, offenses will always innovate, and that's what they do. And it's hard in the first few weeks, even up to probably week 3 or even week 4. You're worrying about the tape isn't always out there with a rookie QB. You don't really know what you're going to see from the offensive side. So that's why it takes defenses a while to adapt to what's going on. And DQ did say, look, we're close with what we've getting to where we want to get to arrive violently is the word that went round in the off season. And by God, did they arrive violently on Sunday. I mean, Wagner again, 1.5 sacks, 6 tackles, 3 solo tackles. Jonathan Allen with a sack. We had Dorrance Armstrong again with a sack, so showing up big. Dante Fowler Jr. with another sack. That's 3 for the season for him. I mean, 7 sacks in this game. You're looking at this saying, well, hang on a minute. What is actually going on? I mean, I think it's around about 15th we are ranked as a defense at the moment.
I mean, don't forget though. I mean, let's say this Cleveland offense is pretty poor. To be fair.
Yeah, I get that.
They've got some decent players, but they're just not a team. And the thing is, I think it's down to Deshaun Watson. I think it's his fault.
It looked like he quit on the team going in when they won that fourth down.
Fourth down, he just walked off the field. He's like, we're going for this, and then he couldn't do a second time out in a row. So he fucking that's a kick it. It's like,
I think when we look back at that, I think they had too many players on the field at that point. I really do. I think they had 12 on the field at that point. But even so, it was not a good. It was not a good look.
Awful. The tackles were awful. Now, don't get me wrong. They were both banged up. I think we went through, previous injury lists, and they were massive on the offensive line, so they were banged up. But and another reason why we probably got a lot of sacks. Deshaun, I say, he's not this. He's not the superstar quarterback. He's not the old Deshaun from the Texans. And this system doesn't suit him. Whatever it is, he's turd at the moment. He really is. He's turd. So I'll drop him personally.
All that money as well, man. They must look at that and think, wow, all the picks, all the money.
Because the owner's going to say, I'm not paying $250 million or whatever it is for him to not play. So. Even though he's not doing anything for the offense. So I get it, man. It must be frustrating for Stefanski.
Just 2 seconds. I'm going to just shout out one of the people in our chat who I have here. Commander Nash, my man, what a guy, sent me through my RG3 jersey, which is signed. I won his competition. So I'm going to get that framed, by the way. And it's going on directly behind the wall of shame, as I'm calling it, because it's a pretty awful wall behind us there. But no, in all seriousness, man, shout out to Commander Nash. What a guy. Got it sent through. And if you are in any of his competitions, go ahead, do what he says on Twitter, subscribe to his YouTube channel, give him a follow, and you could be a winner too, man. It was unbelievable that he.
Yeah, we had Commander Nash on the bunker recently.
I know he's a top guy. He's a top guy. So shout out to Commander Nash. Thanks for joining us as well. Yeah, man, this defense, it just showed up big. I mean, Sandra still on the outside. You know, you saying, yeah, he's going to be in that star position or that nickel. And he's looking all right on the outside, mate. He's looking all right.
He's good. I mean, he's just a very good player. We know this. I mean, he's one of my favourite players coming out of college this year.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, dude. You had him in every mock draft possible.
Yeah, because I know. I mean, this guy's a very good player. I mean, the first 2 weeks, yeah, he's pretty poor, must admit. But again, I think that's just a lack of understanding, lack of playing with the players around him as well, and they're getting better each week, which is what you want to see. You want to see your team improving every week, rather than getting worse. That's what you don't want. So, correct. I mean, it's all on your upward trajectory. I'm happy. I mean, I still prefer him to be in the slot more personally, but again, if he has to do the outside job at times, then so be it as well.
Do you know one other thing on this game as a whole that we can go through? London Fletcher got a game ball, and to me, seeing that on social media, especially what he's going through lately with his the death of his wife, and prayers out to London. Looking at that, mate, that just shows you what an organisation we are now. I mean, Josh Harris wearing a quite horrible blazer, I thought, on the sideline. No, you need to sort out your dress, mate. But I'm not going to question a billionaire, mate. I'm not going to question a billionaire. But in all seriousness, it's like this is different. This feels different. It looks different. The on the field stuff is working. I've got to sit here and eat humble pie, mate, every single week. And if I have to do that till the end of the season and eat humble pie every week, I will. But I'll hold my hand up and say I wasn't a massive fan of the DQ hire. I was thinking to myself, is this going to work? Is this a retread? I don't know what's going to happen here. We all wanted Ben Johnson. I openly admitted that's what we wanted. And in all seriousness, man, that has probably been the steadiest hand and the best move we could have made in this organisation. We are doing really well. We have an all-star studded cast of coaches, as you said before, Scouse. Even people like Anthony Lynn, he's a run game coordinator, former head coach. You've got all these ties and all these players and all these coaches who've won Super Bowls, done things, led teams. This is making a massive difference. Them little minute edges that we talked about, having that little edge that you could possibly get in the front office, in the coaching staff, in the offense, in the defense, it's all coming together at the minute. And yes, we're 4-1. Yes, it could all come crashing down if you're Jesse Martin and you're a pessimist. I'm only kidding, mate, but it could all come crashing down. It could do. But let's ride this train while we can. Get on and choo-choo, come and get on the train with me. I'm on Canada Mike's train soon, I think. But in all seriousness, man, it is, we are flying. And long may it continue. Any more thoughts on the Cleveland game, Scouse, while we're here, mate?
We just battered him. I mean, it was just very nice. Another game where there was no heart attacks. There was no, my blood pressure was chilled. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how I want to see it every week. I want to see it like that every week. And like you mentioned, you've got eating humble pie. I'm happy to eat humble pie every single week as long as we keep winning games. I don't give a shit, me. So, obviously I keep reading in the messages there about Mikey shouldn't be on the outside and Jesse called it that he should and all this crap. Yeah, I will eat humble pie every single time as long as we keep winning. So, and I'm going to keep calling it.
Agreed, mate. Well, we'll get on to the injury report from this week. We'll have a look at it. I haven't got Thursdays. Normally it comes out around about now when we're on the pod. But we'll go through Wednesdays. Nick Algretti had an ankle and didn't practice on Wednesday. Noah Brown with his groin was limited practice. Percy Butler had a groin limited. Austin Eckler heel limited. Zach Ertz had a non-injury related rest day. Clayton Farrell with a knee didn't practice again. Emmanuel Forbes thumb full practice. Dante Fowler Jr. had an illness and didn't practice. Jordan McGee with his knee was full participant. Quan Martin with his neck limited practice. F.A. Obada, tib and fib full practice. Tyler Owen shin didn't practice. And Brian Robinson with his knee did not practice. Any thoughts on the injury report from yesterday, mate?
I mean, I think
we're a bit banged up, but I think we're okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I think we mentioned last week we were panicking a little bit about B-Rob, and He ended up playing. Yeah, I mean, I say he only had 7 snaps. Now again, we didn't need him. Okay, so I can understand why he didn't have many more. And then he got 18 yards. Now again, he got 2 touchdowns. Short yardage is great. As in production wise from that angle. But you got to make sure that this guy's healthy for this week's game, man. And I think Friday's injury report is going to be more important more than yesterday's or today's even. So, but again, I still think he's going to be in there with a questionable designation. I think when the game kicks off, but hopefully be able to do more than 7 snaps at a good level.
I hope so.
We're going to need him. We're going to need him against these.
Absolutely, and we'll get into that game. That's going to lead us in a minute. Baltimore Ravens, we'll look at their injury report from Wednesday. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, groin, didn't practice. Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, ankle, didn't practice. Malik Harrison, linebacker, groin, didn't practice. Arthur Malort, cornerback, knee/hamstring, didn't practice. Ronnie Stanley, their tackle, with a toe, didn't practice. Broderick Washington with a knee, didn't practice. Then you've got limited practices for Deontay Hartley with a knee, who's a wide receiver. Charlie Kohler, tight end, with a toe. Roger Rosengarten, their rookie tackle, with an ankle/hand. Rasheen Ali, running back, neck. And Andrew Voorhees, who's a guard, with an ankle injury.
Man. He was one of the guys I really wanted in the draft.
He was. You're right. Absolutely.
Before. But he blew his ACL, didn't he? Just before the draft. And that was the reason why he went in the 7th round, 6th or 7th round.
Yeah, it was way down.
This guy had a second round grade before his injury. That left side's pretty solid if Stanley is fit. So because Voorhees does play left guard for them. So so it's going to be quite solid on that side. So obviously, I think we're going to have to hit more along the actual their right side, their right tackle. Around that
which is Morgan Moses, who is at the moment the best offensive lineman on statistics in the whole of the NFL.
How many snaps? I want to see the snap count on him. I mean, if it's like full, and fair enough. But
he's played every game. I think.
Yeah, but every snap though.
I'm not sure.
Coleman played every game, but played 50% of the snaps. You know what I mean?
I know. I'll look at it.
Same.
So, preview of the Baltimore Ravens then Sunday at 6:00. Thank goodness from this side of the pond. I know everybody wanted it flexed. I completely understand why you wanted it flexed. But please give us a shout for these European fans who don't really want to see a 1:15 in the morning kickoff. I think we're probably going to see a lot more 1:15 kickoff, Scouts, if we continue the way we're going. We will get games flexed. But I'm kind of pleased that we didn't get this flex. So 6:00 game for us, 1 p.m. Eastern time. They are 3-2, first in the AFC North. They have losses to Kansas City 27-20 in week 1. And their second loss was to Vegas 26-23. And ever since then, they won. They beat the Cowboys 28-25. They beat the Bills 35-10. And then they beat the Bengals in a bit of a shootout 41-38. Now, you could look at this and realistically say they probably should be, they should have lost against the Bengals. The Bills, that was a massive blowout. Cowboys was very, very close as well. So I know they're getting the love, the Ravens, and I know we're getting a lot of love in the media as well, which is very, very strange. But are they as good as we think they are? Are they should be in? They are in the Super Bowl window, but are we overplaying our hand? Are we underplaying what the Ravens are doing? Are they just starting to get going? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll open it out to you, mate.
I think they're starting to get going. I mean, normally a Baltimore team usually don't normally score 40-odd points in a game. That's not normally what they do. They don't do shootouts. They normally have solid defense and win at, say, 27-20, something like that. That's what they mostly do. Now, obviously, this year is different. As you noticed, you've mentioned the scores. Bengals defense, say, isn't great. We put loads on them as well. There's some good players, but it's not a good team. It's not performing at the moment. Joe Burrow is an absolute beast, and that's the reason why they put another 38 points up. Not his fault. The defense can't stop shit. You know what I mean? Now for us, it's going to be difficult. I mean, this is going to be difficult. I always think it's better to underplay it If that makes sense. It's always better to have a lower expectation of it, because then you won't be as upset if we get battered. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I completely understand. And
that's my thought process. And then when you win, the highs maybe even a little bit higher because of that. But you want to obviously try and keep it.
it's been brilliant going into work on a Monday morning with a spring in your step, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, nice, man.
Look at me. You know, people walking. And the other thing that's weird is, I mean, people have been saying, like, those who went to the London games, Tony Wheat, them sort of people who went out to London, walking around with Commanders jerseys on, and people are looking, going, "Oh, Commanders. Oh, okay." You know, Jaden Daniels is the highest, selling shirt in the whole of the NFL for last month. And then I look around and
media. It's supposed to get more national media attention. That's the reason why.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
All the fans are now actually starting to see us on the telly and go, "Oh, actually, they're pretty decent." Then, and that's how it works when you get more national media attention.
And I think most of the country in America will basically, the whole of the East Coast is watching this game, irrespective. So it looks like that's the game that is going to be broadcast to most of them.
Your game of the week. I think it's on Sky.
100%. It's on Sky. So if you are a UK fan or you are a European fan, it is on Sky Sports. It will not be on the DAZN app. That is one of the designated blackout games. So go across and watch that there. The standout players then for Baltimore, mate. Let's go through them. Lamar Jackson, 1,206 yards so far. Derrick Henry, 572 yards. Zay Flowers, their top receiver, with 269 yards. Tackles is Roquan Smith, their middle linebacker, with 49, and they have 2 interceptions through Marlon Humphreys. It's
they've got a solid team, and even lesser names are still very good.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them teams, man. Roquan Smith obviously is an absolute beast at linebacker. And obviously Derrick Henry. I mean, that is
Hamilton.
the biggest thing. Yeah, you mentioned Hamilton. Yes.
Yeah.
Humphrey at corner. I mean, these guys are top level, and it's going to be. Jaden's going to see things that he's never seen before, because that's just how the Ravens are with their defense. They're very exotic at times and show you crazy looks, and then all of a sudden it's a completely different scheme completely, and just try and fool you all the time as for the quarterback. And that's going to be a good test for him. So that's why I think it'll be similar to the Cleveland game at the start. I think he's going to take his time to try and get used to reading what's going on. I think might struggle early doors, and then hopefully he'll find his feet and we still get some points on the board. But yeah, man, it's going to be a tough game.
I agree with you. Do you think this is? I've heard a lot this week in the media, on social media, in national talking heads saying this is the measuring stick. That's the word that's being moved, the measuring stick. I know this team says that they're playing this game by game, and it doesn't really matter. We're taking it game by game by game, and I believe that. I think they genuinely are taking it game by game. But you, as a fan, Scouse, do you see this as a measuring stick? Is this something that you're looking at and saying, well, this is a team that is a Super Bowl caliber team and could get all the way in the AFC? Does this tell us where we are on the radar?
I mean, I think depends who you're asking, really, because I think the answer is yes and no, really, depending on how you look at it. If
come on, mate, take that fence out your ass.
If you want to see it as a true acid test and a true measuring stick, then yeah, and now I would say yes for me, I would. But on the flip side is that if we lose this game, as long as we don't get absolutely annihilated, then I'd be like, I wouldn't lose too much confidence in the team, if that makes sense. So for me, is it a measuring stick? Yes, but if defeat won't kill me either, do you know what I mean? So as long as you don't get annihilated like 40-0 or something stupid, you know what I mean?
I totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from with that. It is all about, we said before the start of the season, it's about competitiveness. And to that end, Rattlehead, who is at Rattlehead UK, he put a question into us. He said, would it be better for long-term development to lose on Sunday? A narrow loss with no new injuries would reduce the pressure of expectation and media furore, as opposed to being declared Super Bowl bound should we win?
Good question. I mean, I always want my team to win, no matter what, even if that means more expectation on the shoulders of Jaden Daniels and the whole team. So for me, I think this one, it's obviously not a win-win, but what I mean is like, if we win, yes, we'll get the Super Bowl contender crap, and then we get all that, and we get the confidence that goes along with it, and the love and all the rest. If we lose, then like Rattlehead said, it's you can dampen down expectations a little bit, reduce some of the expectations, reduce some of the pressure, and then team can just continue on their merry way and see how they go to the end of the season. So I think either way, you can definitely take some positives from both angles of this game. Being honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, we've got to go back and say to ourselves, we did not expect the start that we've had this season. At this point, I was 3-2, I think, or 2-3 even, going into Baltimore, and yeah, we're in with a chance with what we've got. I think that's where we were going to go there. Ken, obviously on here, shout out to Ken, Green Bay fan, obviously saying you're going to cry on Sunday. Okay, cry. Well, I don't know about that, mate, but I'd let yourself worry about your own quarterback at the moment, mate, who's hobbling on one leg.
What did you do in his own end zone? That's all you did for a big six. Ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. But no,
no thanks.
No hate from the Washington side here, mate. But thank you for joining us and expanding your horizons by listening to two British blokes talk absolute rubbish about an American football team. But yeah, we appreciate anybody who is in the chat.
Rubbish is great content, this is great content.
Absolutely, yeah, indeed, yeah. But there you go, yeah. I mean, maybe it'll be an early night for him when he's at Lambeau at the draft. Who knows? we'll see, because your pick's going to be quite low down. But there you go. It's one of them, mate. I mean, what are my thoughts?
Vikings.
I mean, the Vikings are on fire, aren't they? Let's be honest. I mean,
make a Sam Darnold look like
blockhead Sam Darnold for MVP. I mean, what is going on? That's the thing with Green Bay at the minute. I don't even think they're the second in that division. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, that's for a later date. On the Ravens, we'll get back to where we were. How do you stop Derrick Henry, Scouse?
You've got to stack it. You've got to stack the box. You've got to put 8 in there, and I think the problem is when that happens, because loads of teams do it to him. They have to. You know what I mean? And that opens up the game for Lamar to pass to kill us with his passing. I mean, now again, for me, receiver wise, I'm not scared of their receivers. I mean, Zay Flowers is good, but the other guys don't scare me at all in any way, because Rashard Bateman, the guy's a walking crutch. He's always injured. You know what I mean? So I'm not scared of him. And I can't remember the third string guy. That's how bad he is. So
Jordan Addison. No, he's at Minnesota. Sorry, yeah. I don't know who the third one is.
Absolutely bum. So for me, I'm not scared of the receivers. Besides, well, you could say scared of Zay Flowers. You've got to do something about him, otherwise he will beat you. But in general, if you stop him and stop the run, then I think you've got him. I know you can say, well, Lamar can run it then, and he can do this and that. That's why it's a hard game. You can't stop everything, You hope you can, but you can't always. But yeah, how you stop Henry is do what you got to do. You've got to stack the box and hope that you can't get out. And you can't afford to miss tackles. You have to tackle him. You can't mess around. You know what I mean? So.
Well, the thing with Henry is he's got that ability to put his foot in the dirt and twist and move. He can hand you off with it. He's got a very good stiff arm.
Yeah, he's got a powerful stiff arm. Well, he should do with his size. He should do. And
he's a train. He's a freight train running, isn't he?
He's a difficult guy to bring down, and that's what you might need 2 guys every time to take him down. No, I don't think any guy on his own can take him down. I don't think I've seen anyone do that really. If he's running directly at you, I don't think anyone can stop him on his own. You've got to get 2-3 guys there to stop it. But yeah,
and that's where the linebackers come into play big time. That is where they come into play.
At least that's where Wagner is at his best against the run. That is where he's at his best. So he's going to need to have a huge game to stop Henry.
Have you got a Scouse's sizzle this week? Because if you haven't got a Scouse's sizzle, I just want to bring something up. Not a sizzle as such, but I'm getting sick and tired of seeing Chicago Bears fans kicking off and complaining, oh, Jaden Daniels is just he's just a one-read quarterback. Oh, he just bails out all the time.
Obviously, don't watch him.
If you're gonna comment, please go and actually watch what he's doing. Watch breakdowns of how he's going. Watch the All-22, and don't compare him to Caleb Williams. I don't care about Caleb Williams. I'm not interested in Caleb Williams in any way, shape, or form until we pay the Bears. Look, two players can have good seasons for two different teams. That is not impossible, but it's always going to be linked because it's Heisman Trophy winner, overall number 1 overall pick, number 2 overall pick. Bears are probably looking at it going, Jaden Daniels is getting all this love. Should we have picked him? Should we have picked him? They're trying to justify, aren't they, the Caleb Williams?
They're trying to justify the Caleb Williams pick, and it's understandable. You know, at the end of the day, if the number 2 guy is actually breaking records, and you know, the number 1 guy that they had the chance to take Daniels and didn't.
Yep. They've
got to be sticking up for Caleb, and Caleb's doing this and that. The other, he's way better and all that shit, and knocking our guy. That's obvious. They're going to do that. That's just a bias in them. If you've seen it objectively, Jaden is playing by far better football. Now, Williams is getting better. Last week he played really well. Wasn't doing too much stupid hero ball. That was his problem in his first few games. He was doing like running to the right and then trying to throw it across his body to the left, and he was getting picked off. And he was doing some like ridiculous things, hero ball type plays. That shit don't work in the NFL. You don't get away with it, you know. And I think he's learning that. So hopefully, I want him to do well. I want him to be really.
So
good.
do I. So
when
do
he
I.
goes, we can give him an absolute ass kicking, and then we'll show who's the real quarterback, who's the best quarterback. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see him playing well and just destroy him anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, we're getting to some of our fan questions, mate, that were submitted. We've had loads submitted again, so thank you to everybody who put in a fan question, all those in the chat as well who are on here. We appreciate you. I think the majority of the people in the chat have actually put a question in. Rattlehead, thanks for joining us. We've just done your question already, mate, but thank you for popping on. So the first question...
He's new to our... Is he new to our pod?
Yeah, he's followed me for quite a while, mate, on X, and I'm sure he follows you as well, dude. But I only he does. I only noticed Rattlehead because he was on JP Finley's podcast. I remember that, so I was like, oh, all right, mate. You know what I mean? And we connected on social media. He's a good bloke. Canada Mike's this is his first question of about 100, but it's worth going through. He said, "Do we owe Ron Rivera a huge thank you for being shite? So we got the second pick." Probably.
I think the answer is yes. I also think that was part of his remit. I really do.
Really?
Him? Yeah.
To tank ineffectively.
It'd be really bad. Especially this last year when the new owner came in. It was the first year of the new owner. The new owner probably went to him, "Look, mate, you're here for now, but next year we're going to get our own guy in. What you want you to do is to basically lose. We're looking for these quarterbacks. We want a high pick, you know." And I reckon genuinely that's what he did. I think that's the reason why. One of the main reasons why we got second overall is because Ron was just absolute shite and went through the motions. But I think that he was told to kind of do that. So he still gets his big payoff at the end of the year because he's still had the year left on his deal. So that's not 10 mil. So I believe that. I believe it, man. I genuinely believe that we should thank Ron for us getting Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
2 questions in from Tim Towner. The first question, he said, "If you look at the stats between Washington and Baltimore, the two teams match up pretty evenly, but I'm still going to focus on the long term. As such, I want to see us continue to improve. Winning in week 6 would be great, but like Jaden says, we have plenty of areas to improve. Name your top 3 rooms which need to step up and have a good game in order to keep things close."
In our team?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's easy. Well, first one, linebackers. 2, quarterback. 3, O-line.
Yep.
They've really got to stand up. They've got to stand up and be counted. They're playing well. I need them to keep playing well in this game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also think corners come into it as well. I think corners need to play well as well on Saturday. If we're
Yeah,
going
if
to
you
go
get enough
there,
pressure on Lamar, I mean, Lamar's not the best of passers. Being honest,
yeah.
I think Jane's a better passer than him
Well,
already. I really do. I think it really is. His deep ball's not that good. Being honest, yeah, I'm not. I'd rather have Lamar try and beat me with his passing rather than with his legs. So bring it on.
another question from Tim. He says, "Always thinking about the draft. If things progress favourably and we pick in the second round of pick in the second round of the first round. That said, I hear this class will be deep, but what we will not have is a lot of players that grades out as true first round picks in that case. In that case, would you rather hold on to your picks or trade it and move back for more picks?" Now, I know what you're like when it comes to draft scouts. You like trading and moving things around. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, 2025 draft talk is mad.
Yeah, it's a bit early for me. I mean, even I don't look at it that this close. I only look at it when it comes, when we're out of playoff contention. That's when I start looking.
Yeah. So you mean week 10?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, week 10, yeah. But this year will be different. So,
absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't really, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know. But I mean, deep in what areas though? Because is it deep in corners? I don't think so. Because most top corners end up going in the first 10, for example. So I mean, for me, we need a top tier corner. That's what we need. If you really want to upgrade the defense, that's where you should start. If you're looking at,
we need a corner desperately. That is what we need desperately.
I'd like to keep the guys we've got personally, and then maybe look for another wide receiver, second round, something like that. But again, that would be, let's say, second round, end of the second. Hopefully, end of the second. So, yeah, man. So they're my first two places I'm looking for, and dependent on the 1 year deals as well, and who we're going to re-sign for next year.
That's tough.
All that, because it's very difficult at the moment. So. Because I'd like to if they keep playing well, I want to keep most of the guys, because if they're playing well, why do you want to get rid of them and get somebody else when you can get them, as long as on reasonable deals, as in prices, then why not? Keep the guys,
Brian says, I looked the other day, Chevon Revel Jr. is a name, or Shavon, it might be, Revel Jr. is a name to watch. High second round guy right now.
What position's easy? Corner. Is he a corner, Brian?
I don't know.
I've got no idea. I've not checked anyone yet, to be honest.
Neither have I, mate. Neither have I.
What's this here, Jesse? Me talking that S? Mate, I'm not being funny, man. I'm not being funny. Lamar trust me, he's not that good with his arm. If you can stop it, if you can stop him, you can stop his legs, stop Derrick Henry, make him beat you with the pass. I think we've got a chance. I do.
Cornerback. He's saying.
Cornerback. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll look at him.
PRM, thanks for being with us, mate. We appreciate you. Shout out to him. We've also got a question here from Simon Thurston, who is in our chat. Simon says, are people, fans and experts, etc., jumping the gun a little on JD5, given we're just 5 games into the season? Or is it that we've seen sufficient sample size to assert that he is indeed elite caliber QB?
I mean, of course. I mean, it is a small sample size. It is. He's got to do it against good teams on the regular to be classed as elite. I mean, at the moment, he's on fire. People aren't really getting onto his style, how he plays yet. Now there's more film out on him. Defense are going to scheme better for him. So these things are going to come up for him. More challenges. But it's all about he's not going to be perfect every week. He's going to have some bad games. That's normal from a rookie. That's normal. But it's about how he responds when he does have a really bad game. Because at the moment, he's had like a bad quarter or a bad throw, but he's not had a bad game. You know what I mean? That's a difference. So we want to see how we can actually handle those things when it does happen, because it will happen. It's nature. It's human nature. You can't be perfect all the time. So, yeah, man. I mean, I just want to see. I mean, yeah. At the moment, has he got the potential to be elite and be the best around? Hell yeah. He looks like he's got all the tools. Mentally as well, not just physically, with the ball and how he runs and all the rest of it. It's but yeah, at the moment it is a small sample size, but you can see he's got his potential's off the scale.
It is indeed. I agree completely with everything you've just said. Deluxe, who's in our chat with us, he said, random fact, an octopus has 32 hearts. Who are the hearts of the commanders?
I think Frankie Louis is one of them massively. I think Wagner as well. Wagner's always been a leader no matter where he's been. Obviously, again, you're going to pick your main positions. You're going to pick
Terry.
You're going to pick Terry. You're going to pick Cosme. You're going to pick probably Biadish as well now. I mean, he's really stepping up to be looking like he is one of the true leaders in the offense. So
Zach Ertz in that tight end room.
Even Eckler. You can look into Eckler. He's been around a long time as well, and these guys are the beating heart of the team. Then Payne, if you want to put them two, Payne Allen, if you want to put one of those guys in there. I wouldn't put both, but I'll put one of them in there, maybe Payne. But
PRM Paul, he says a bit of both. They build him up so they can say they called it at the beginning, but if he flames out, they'll just pile in on him big time. Yeah, that's the risk you take, isn't it? And that's what
fans are. That's how fickle they are.
They are, yeah. But I genuinely believe we have someone who we can build around consistently for a long time, as long as he stays healthy and everything and the scheme works, and we continue playing in this scheme. Yeah, exactly that.
He doesn't want a big head like me, because if he does, then you'll end up like you'll end up with food. So you end up going down like Caleb Williams style stuff. So I don't want that. So if someone can keep his level head, no matter how much love he's getting from everybody, that's another thing, because that is the thing, man. That's the thing. You are a 23, 24-year-old guy, you just come into the league, everything's new, and then everyone's licking your ass, seeing how good you are because you're playing well. And it's like, it's hard for you not to get a big head and get a massive ego. You know what I mean? It is. So I know he seems calm, even keel, all the rest of it. And I want him to stay that way. I don't want him to change. You know what I mean? I don't want him to be, but just forget all about that crap. You know what I mean?
I agree. But I think with 55 starts in college football, he is a little bit different to your normal rookie QB, who maybe needs to sit a little bit of time, doesn't necessarily have things like.
It does like keep level-headed, but as I say, but it's hard to maintain that if you keep doing well. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, you get that attitude. You do get like an ego eventually when everyone you see you meet is just licking your ass that much. You know what I mean? That you're going to think you are the next fucking god. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to keep yourself on that even keel. I'm not talking now. You'll be fine now, but if it continues on your trajectory and the way it's going at the moment, all the love he's getting, throughout the whole season, for example, it's quite hard to keep your head on your neck, if that makes sense.
Well, we've seen it the other way around. Look at Chase Young. You know what I mean? I don't know what his attitude was like when he came in, but he was a bit of a rah-rah guy. Came in with a bit of an ego, and then won rookie of the year, and was like, "I am the next, God. I am God." And it just didn't go anywhere. But yeah, it can have an adverse effect. I completely get where Paul's coming from in the chat there, but for me, 55 starts in college for Jaden he's different, man. He's different. He hasn't got that poise. He's got that poise. He hasn't got that bit where he needs to work on his footwork. His mechanics aren't completely right. Because a lot of these quarterbacks we see are 1 year starters. Your Richardsons, who've had the guy at Tennessee, Mayo man. I can't remember his name now for the life of me. Will Levis. Thank you. Him and others that are coming. I mean, Drake May's sitting behind Brissett pretty much the whole of the season. We both loved Drake May coming out of the draft.
Again,
and we thought
he's raw. He is compared to a Jaden who's, as you mentioned, he's already got good footwork. He's already polished. He's played 55 games. May's played I think it's something like 18 or something. It's huge. I mean, the age difference is huge as well. It's true. 3 years younger than Jaden, so this is where he's had those 3 years of experience in college. And I think what you'll see as well is top quarterbacks now are going to start doing that more in college, stay longer because they get
the deal is there for them.
They weren't getting that before. You know what I mean? Like about 2 years before 2 years ago, they weren't getting any of that. So they had to go pro early to make sure their families were sorted financially, and they weren't ready. You went for it?
Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Max Taman on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. Go and subscribe to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. He had a one the other week. He brought it up as a guy who is sponsored by HVAC unit, and it is the coldest Crawford.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that
So
name.
obviously, the coldest, sponsored by an air conditioning company. Yeah, nice one. I like that. So no, that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, they're getting sponsorship deals, and it's one of them. Deluxe has also put in. He says, "Does Scouse like the nickname Beetlejuice if the ghost with the most shows up again this week?"
Deluxe the rapper right there.
I know. Yeah, he was a poet, and he didn't know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I didn't even know it. Yeah. No, man. For me, I mean, yeah. Again, let's see. I need to see more than just 1 or 2 games spurred that he's played well. You know, I need him to play well for most of the season to really start changing my mind on him, because he's had so many bad years. Like, you've seen how bad he's been, so you've seen how bad he can be. But now it's like, okay, you're starting to show he might have actually some promise. Okay then, but now you got to do it every week. Show me every week.
Scott G, who's in our chat now, he said, "Has Scouse ordered his 0 jersey yet?"
Oh no, not yet, mate. No. I'm waiting for Scott G to buy me one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll order it through his ham radio. Yeah, because you can't get Amazon Prime there, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
No. You'll have to wait 8 hours for delivery. Yeah, it's one of them.
By fucking bird.
Yeah, exactly. by pigeon. Yeah, carrier pigeon. He also put in a few other questions. His second question, he said, you have to choose one letdown game. Who would you choose losing to? CW and the Bears or Carolina?
I've got to choose just to lose a game.
Yeah, if you were to choose to lose a game.
What is actually the trap game out of them?
Is it Carolina or is it the Bears?
If it's a trap game, then it's the Bears. Bears have got a lot more talent than Carolina have. If Carolina beat us, I'd be very upset with that one, because they've got no talent on that team, or very little talent.
CJ Horn, but he'll be commander by the end of the
JC Horn,
anyway,
JC Horn, yeah. I mean,
sorry, JC Horn. Why did I say CJ? I mean, I'm getting confused with CJ Gardner Johnson for some reason.
That's the guy. I would look at trying to trade with JC Horn. I mean, I know people will say, "Oh, he's injury prone," blah 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 blah. He's way better than corner we've got. He's way better. I mean, Sancho can then go back to where he should be in the middle. So I would try it. And they're such a bad organization. They'll probably give him away for fucking like a 3rd or a 4th. Something stupid like that.
Yeah, I'd rather. Commander Nash has put it up here. This is the Darryl Green retirement jersey game. You know what I mean? So we ain't losing to the Panthers, mate. We are not losing to the Panthers. Okay. If I have to get on a plane and come out and see it, then we'll do that, because we don't lose when we're in town. So no, man, Darryl Green's jersey needs to be retired, and we need to win that game 100%. The Bears game, you're right, it is a trap game. That's probably who I'd lose to. But yeah, man, it's one of them. Last question from Scott G. Then this week, he says, "Is the key to?"
Sorry, mate. You can see here. I'd rather lose to Carolina due to current Bears fans talking down JD. Yeah, because obviously then they'll be on about Caleb this again, and blah 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 blah. I get it, but yeah, man, there's no way in hell we're losing to the Panthers. No, just no.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Is the key to success for players to have Scouse dislike them, i.e. Wiley, BSJ and others he dislikes, continue to have solid performances and then continue to grow within the new coaching system? Fans don't like being patient, but it may help their blood pressure at times. I'm going to come back on this as well, Scouse, and I'll let you go first, mate, but I'll come back on this. Go on.
I think I kind of mentioned my kind of mindset before of, lower the expectation, Yes, it's nice to keep going. Yeah, we're going to win 40-0, 40-10, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to happen, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, if we can keep it, we might lose this one, we might not, those type things, and, and it's going to be tight, etc. I will hate on players. If they don't show me they're good, then they're going to get called out. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple as that. And when you start playing well, I will eat the humble pie. Like I mentioned before, I will eat it. And yeah, so I'm always going to say, if it's a game that's like a 50-50 game, I'll say we'll probably lose the game. Yeah. Rather than say we'll win the game if it's a 50-50 game. Yeah. Does that make sense? I look at the glass half empty, probably, if you want to call it that, when it comes to those things. But for me, man, I'm all about it. I'm all about us winning, but I will lower the bar, if that makes sense. I will lower it down. So,
I mean, we've released, and Darren's just said that, and I've just read it 1 minute ago. We have released quarterback Sam Hartman.
Interesting.
Just seen that there, but they've cleared a spot on the practice squad for Hartman the other day. Yeah, you're right. I did see that too, Brian. There was a practice squad release.
I thought you just put down the practice squad. I thought that's what was happening. No?
I think you have to release them, don't you, to get them to the practice squad?
Oh, right, okay.
So maybe they're hoping he clears waivers and then back on a practice squad in a couple of days. That's probably what it is. So I don't think there's anything to really worry about there. I think he'll still be with the team, but not going to have 4 on the active roster. Absolutely right, Scott G.
I thought Hartman was already going to be put on it, so. On the
I think you have to. I think you have to physically release players to clear waivers, then to go back onto the practice squad. Yeah. So that'll be the corresponding move there. But Darren Hatherley, thank you for bringing that to our attention, mate. Appreciate you also being in the chat with us.
If I had the chance, mate, I'd boot Buddy Mariota to the practice squad.
Yeah, so Brian's saying here that either FA or McGee will be on the roster this weekend. Not sure which one. Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of. I think so. The way the linebackers are playing, yeah, I think you're probably right, and especially we don't know.
Sorry, mate. I know Owens. I know Owens is struggling, so they might go. Well, maybe they put McGee in there instead.
Well, Owens is a safety, isn't he? So, but I know what you mean. He's
kind of plays strong and kind of linebacker-ish type thing. But
Dante Fowler's had an illness. Jordan McGee's obviously full practice here, and looking at the DNs, I mean, yeah, maybe that's where we go.
Cleveland's still out. Well, Cleveland's going to be out still, probably.
Yeah, exactly that.
So I genuinely believe FA gets it. I think FA.
Yeah, I think so too. My boy, F.A. Obada, maybe have to ring his mum.
And now he's back.
Restraining order.
Lamar Jackson. Remember the time he played? I'm sure it was against Lamar Jackson last time. Actually, he actually met him and then actually just stopped him, as in he just stopped tackling. Thought that it was over. Remember that?
He thought the play was over. Yeah, he did.
He didn't tackle the quarterback. The quarterback just ran off. Was it Lamar? He did that too. Can you remember? I just remember. I think it was Lamar,
Yeah, I think it was.
He had him and he just stopped and went, and then he just ran past him. It's like, what are you doing?
It's fine. Aled, shout out to Aled, Wales Commanders on Twitter. Go and give him a follow. Top bloke. He said, every game we've played could have been used as a yardstick to see where we are as a team. We've blown that out the water. Do you think this next game will be the test to see how good we actually are?
Well,
we kind of covered that already.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before, Aled. I do think it is a measuring stick, definitely, because you want to put yourself up against the best teams, and they are one of the best teams. So, so it is a good measuring stick because of that. Because I think 80% of their team's better than ours, man for man. But it doesn't mean you can't win on any given Sunday, though. So let's just see how it goes. But yeah. I say, as long as you don't get absolutely blown out, I think we can take a lot of positives from this game either way, even if we lose the game. I really do. Because say it'll reduce expectations, it'll give us something to actually think about. We need to reevaluate that. You know what I mean? Where at the moment everything's just going smooth, it's going nice. So and if we win, obviously continue. Yeah, let us ride the wave. But
correct,
if it doesn't. But you definitely got things that you can work on then.
Exactly that. Richard Cameron, he is at Mr. Rich Cameron. He says, do you know where Luvu's dogs are at? And should it be added or adopted even by the fans / players in the stadium to enhance the game day experience? When he does the sippy towel.
Yeah. Do you mean put that on the big screen, you mean? Yeah, that'd be nice.
I like it on a big screen, but I don't want to see fans in the stands doing it. It's going to be a bit weird. I mean, I know the Minnesota's got the Skull chant, and we've got other teams doing various different bits, but I think it's probably a bit too much. But do I want to see it on the screen? Yeah, probably.
Just Mexican wave that we tend to see a lot.
Oh, mate, that was
Awful, bro.
it's just dire, and it's dire.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
give me Luvu's dogs. Give me
Yeah.
that instead.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! Love it, man. He is absolutely awesome. Our final serious question is from Jesse. Well, I say that serious. He's in our chat. He is
serious.
yeah, Hannah. He is at Jesse24. Go and give him a follow on X and Bleeding Burgundy podcast. Go and give them a subscribe and a listen and a follow. He said, "Will Scouse win a game in our fantasy league this season?" Second part to that question is, what will be the reaction to the loss sustained on Sunday? And the third part to that question is, what potential of a spiral when Baltimore hangs 40 on this defense? Come on in off the ledge, Jesse. Come on in. You know what I mean? It's not all bad. One defeat. Let's temper this. Yeah, I know, man. Let's temper this. One defeat is not going to spoil the entire season.
Yeah,
and they're a great side. We've been explaining that all episode. They're a great side, and this is a side that I don't want to say you want to aspire to be, but they've got a very good team. You know what I mean? And we're not on that level. So I understand Jesse's pessimistic self and where he comes from. We have to deal with this every weekend. But yeah, man, I get where he's going. Will they hang 40 on us? Probably. They might do. It might be a shootout. It might be like 37-40. Who knows where we're going to go with that? What will be the reaction to the loss sustained on Sunday, Scouse?
I think I mentioned before, as long as you don't get blown out, then I think you can still take a lot of positives from it, because if we lose, the expectation gets lowered, things to work on, because there'll be obviously a lot more mistakes if we lose a game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So those things, and then there's things things you can work on for the following week. If we get battered, say 40, like Jesse thinks we're going to get hammered. Like if we get hammered, then is there really a lot to take from it? Then probably not. Then besides saying we're just not as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's one game. If they treat the game like it's one game, when we move on, and then we're back to where we have been, then there's no issue, is there?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't stay in our heads, and then we start to get the spiral, like you mentioned, where we start losing game after game because they've just destroyed our confidence, because our confidence is maybe, that thick. You know what I mean? Rather than being that thick. You know what I mean? Like, so, it's yeah.
But I don't think that will happen with the. I can see where it could happen, but I don't think that will happen because of if we did get, say, blown out. And the confidence you think is going to dip and spiral out of control. I don't think that would happen because of the leadership that we have on this team, the veterans that are in that team. The room is there. I mean, Frankie Louvu, let's be honest, he's not been winning at Carolina. He's a leader. Zach Ertz knows nothing but winning, really. In the NFL. I mean, yeah, he wasn't really winning that much at the Cardinals, but he had success at the Eagles. Bobby Wagner's had success everywhere he's been. You know what I mean? These are sort of players who you can rely on. And when the young guys are down and thinking, oh, shit, my confidence is shot, they're the guys who you want to hold on to. And that's why going back to Mariota in a way is going to kind of, that could bring something out in Jaden by saying, well, come on, Jaden, it's not that bad. I've been here before. This is how I dealt with adversity. The team needs to deal with a bit of adversity as well. And we need to see how this team deals with adversity going forward. So I hope that kind of sort of answered your question, Jesse.
First part, the number one part of that, of course, I'm winning this week.
Yeah, you're winning this weekend against John Taman. It's absolutely fine.
I'm going to flame and smoke John Taman. He's been griefing me all in the chats about poor
trades,
poor trade offers. Even though he lowballs me all the time with his trade offers, but whatever, right? But
yeah, what did he want? What did he offer you? What did he actually offer you for Justin Jefferson?
He offered me Kenneth Walker for Justin Jefferson. I was like, yeah, it's a great deal, that. Yeah, Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't having that one, and then obviously he started to rip me then because I swapped it. Instead of JJ, I offered him Addison for him, and I pissed him off, and you know what I mean. It kind of went from there. So, but yeah, man, I'm winning this week, mate. mean, I've lost 5 in a row, by the way, guys. So I am 0-5, right? But 2 of those games I should have won, and I got done. Actually, 3 of those games, actually. Yes, I got done first week because his kicker Moody decides to hit 25 points in a one game. Beats me that way. You know what I mean? Beats me that way. Oh, yeah, and he beat me by like 2 points. You know what I mean? So it needed a huge game from Moody. I thought I had him. Then they get battered the week after. I think it was you got battered too, didn't they? Week after.
Yeah, you
when we were in the US, I got battered because Tua got knocked down after like 5 minutes and he was done. That was him done. And then they lost like last week to Mark by 2 points, and they should have. I didn't even start Pitts because he pissed me off last week, and that cost me the game. So things that have been like I'm 0-5, but really, if things went my way, I could have been 3-2. So it's not Or
you're not out of it yet, Nate. You're not out of it yet, are you?
It looks worse than it is at the moment. So let's see how it goes this week. But
the injury report is out, Scouts, for Thursday. So I've got it here in front of me. DT Phil Mathis has an illness and didn't practice. So he's new to the injury report. Tyler Owens with a shin, again, didn't practice. That's the second day on the trot. Brian Robinson Jr., knee, did not practice. That's now 2 days on the trot for B-Rob as well. Nick Algretti was limited with his ankle, so he's gone up to limited. Noah Brown has gone limited. Percy Butler, limited. Cleveland Farrell with a knee has gone from did not practice on Wednesday to limited. Quan Martin was limited again with his neck. Austin Eckler was full today from the heel. Emmanuel Forbes with the thumb was full. Dante Fowler Jr. had an illness on Wednesday and didn't practice and is now full. Jordan McGee full and F.A. Obada full. So has Dante Fowler Jr. given Phil Mathis his friggin' colds or whatever it is?
Probably.
Yeah, but there you go. So that's the injury.
Locker room.
maybe. That's the injury report. That's the injury report for Thursday. So we'll go to our final segment, mate. And it's weird. I've just kind of made this up off the spin over the last couple of weeks, called 60 Seconds with Canada Mike. He says, "Are you surprised how poor the NFL is this season? Meaning, like me, you'll be surprised that we don't lose another game this season."
The whole point of the NFL is to be level,
competitive.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
parity, isn't it? That's the whole point of it. So that's why the draft is the way it is. Those type things. So and why there's a salary cap that everyone's got to adhere to. I know some fuckers cheat their way out of it and stuff, but most tend to be within the rules. So no, it's not. The NFL's not poor. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's actually nice every year that you see one or two surprise teams that actually are good that year. Texans last year was probably one of them. The CJ Stroud thing, and we're feeling what they felt, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're rookie quarterback, and oh my god, now we've got a team we can actually win games, and got to the playoffs. So fair play to them, great. And I think we're feeling that same wave of good quarterback and rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it's the emotional wave, isn't it? We're going to ride this emotional wave. These next couple of questions that he's got in here, I thought were pretty good. They were quite funny actually, but they were very good. He says, with people asking when the Commanders are on the road in New Orleans, do you answer December the 15th or do you answer February the 9th, like you should be doing? all right. Pump the brakes a little bit, Mike. Pump the brakes.
And then imagine having the ball do that. Imagine just walking around saying, "We're going to be in New Orleans, February 9th, bro." Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he says, the last one is, do you think the Chiefs will even score a touchdown against us in the Super Bowl? So he's obviously assuming it's going to be the Chiefs, but hey, okay, fair enough. And they haven't looked amazing, but at the same time, they're like 5-0, which is just crazy.
I know.
Yeah,
they cheated to win the game against the Bengals. I'm still not having that was interference. No way was that interference in my book.
And then he says the final bit is he says 12 wins from here, and this is quite good. I actually read this. Is only 5-2 at home and 3-2 on the road. Do you think 12 wins is lowballing? It is mad though to go, oh yeah, we could go 5-2, and quite conceivably we could go 5-2 at home. And I mean, again, 3-2 on the road. That's 12 wins, which is just.
Yeah.
No, I think 10
12 is a lot more realistic now because we've got.
Oh yeah, because of the start we've had.
Yeah, exactly. So the odds are obviously going down. I mean, I think my bro was talking about it with me about the odds of us going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, all the rest of it before the season started, 150 to 1.
Now keep going, 5,000 to 1.
I don't know where you looking. I wish I knew that. I've done that every week. But then after that, then it was like, what was it? Now it's down to something like 33 to 1 now, or something like that for us to win the Super Bowl. It's gone right in because we just had a good start, So those things happen, but I'm a stall. Would it be awesome to be there? Sure, you know what I mean. I think if we got there, even if I couldn't get a ticket, I'd probably still get there. I'd still fly there, just to be in, probably, yeah. Even if we couldn't get a ticket for it,
Scott G says, "Are you guys going to travel to MN for Minnesota for NFC Championship game if it happens, so you can experience real cold?" No, is the answer to that. Not going to Minnesota.
I don't like freezers, mate. I don't like freezers.
No, mate, that is crazy.
What would be the kind of temp around that year, the time of year for Minnesota? Would that be like minus what?
20? I have no idea. I have no idea.
I'm talking Celsius, Scott G. Give me it in Celsius because I know you'll probably answer it for me. But yeah,
so
man.
January.
We're used to -5, aren't we? Something like that.
About that. So it's saying it should be
Fahrenheit. No, give me in Celsius.
It's saying the normal daily temperatures range from 12 Fahrenheit, which is -11 Celsius, down to 5 Fahrenheit, which is -20.
Oh, okay, all right.
Woo! So that is pretty cold.
That is painful. I remember when I was a kid. Not a kid. When I was in college, I worked at a Walmart, an Asda, but Walmart, as Yanks would know it as, in their freezer, and that was -30. That was fucking cold. So, and I didn't like that. I didn't last there for more than a few weeks, you know what I mean. But yeah, man, it can be cold. Yeah, so I've felt -30 where you breathe through your nose and all your nostril hairs just freeze instantly. It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, Deluxe says Minnesota is in a dome, but you still have to get to the dome. Yeah, exactly. That, mate.
I'd be wearing scarves across my face and everything. I'd be looking like a rioter.
Yeah, exactly that.
Right,
that about does us then for the week. Well, we'll go for it. Do you want to do a prediction? Do you not want to do a prediction? What do you want to do, mate? Because
of course, I want to do a prediction.
Go on, then. What's your prediction for this weekend?
I think we lose 31-24.
I think we lose 27-24. Close enough to say we're still thereabouts, but I do think we take a loss this weekend, unfortunately. And hey, if we're back next Thursday and it's a win, then great, it's a win. If we're not, we can discuss the game next Thursday. And when it's all said and done, it's all said and done, Scouse, as Eric Bieniemy used to say. But yeah, man, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Deluxe saying Minnesota people are crazy. I have a co-worker whose family used to use an outside pool when the temperature is in the teens. F that. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. And Deluxe, if you're going on Sunday, enjoy yourself. I hope it goes well. All those to the Commanders Nation that's going out. Have fun in the stadium. I hope it goes well. Go up the beltway. It's wild. And also, while we're here, all those affected by the hurricane, I wish you nothing but Godspeed, and I hope that you and your families are safe and that you can rebuild on what has been horrific from that hurricane that hit Florida. And we've got friends and family and stuff in Florida, so you know what I mean. Just I hope it all goes well, man. But yeah, thanks for everybody who's been in the chat. Thanks to Deluxe, Scott G, Jesse, Aled, Brian. We've had Rattlehead in here. We've had loads of people. Ian, your brother's been in here. Mike from a long time ago, PRM in here as well. Commander Nash with us. Yeah, man, it's been crazy. We appreciate every single one of you being in the chat, and we'll take some pictures from my aerial all 22 end zone view. Nice, mate. Yeah, nice. Up in the gods, buddy. But yeah, no. Thanks everybody who put a question in. Tim Towner, Rattlehead, Canada Mike, Scott G, Alid, Richard Cameron, Jesse put a question in. Deluxe put questions in. And Canada Mike obviously put a ton in. But yeah, we appreciate you all. Thank you, Scouts, for joining me again, mate. Appreciate you every Thursday doing this. Love chatting it up with you. And we will catch you again next week, hopefully with another Victory Thursday. But maybe I'll speak too soon. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Bye.